Coming up on News Center now, we now know what caused that fire back in March that killed Berwick Fire Captain Joel Barnes. The state fire marshal made that determination today.
And Maine's vaccination rates dropped to an all-time low. We're taking a look at the latest numbers from the Maine CDC. That's all ahead on News Center now. It's been over a year since the death of 2-year-old Chloe Hawksley. Now police think they have the person responsible in custody. Good evening, everyone. I'm Amanda Hill in for Lindsay Mills.
And I'm Lee Nelson. Glad you're with us tonight. We are learning more about 21-year-old Savannah Smith and her relationship to the toddler. Jackie Mundry reports.
Savannah Smith was arrested here at the Spring Fountain Motel on Thursday evening. Motel employees tell me that she had been staying here for a few weeks with a new boyfriend. The dead 2-year-old was the daughter of a previous boyfriend. On Thursday, State Police and Bucksport Police came to Spring Fountain and asked for Smith. Her current boyfriend declined to comment on Friday, but motel staff say he just assumed they had more questions into the homicide of the little girl. Instead, Smith was taken into custody. Motel staff tell me Smith just had a baby a few days ago. They say that child was immediately taken into DHHS custody because of Smith's connection to the October 2017 homicide investigation of Chloe, who was not Smith's daughter. This arrest was unexpected for those at Spring Fountain.
We were literally shocked, if you run a place or you know the reputation of a place, you really don't want anything to be associated to that. So we had absolutely no idea. We just knew there was a pregnant girl over here who just gave birth to a kid, and we didn't know that she's going to be involved into all that.
Smith is being held at Hancock County Jail and is expected to appear before a judge on Monday. In Bucksport, Jackie Mundry, News Center, Maine.
All right, with that, we'll turn our attention to something else, the weather outside. I was outside not too long ago. It actually felt not too bad.
Yeah, it's a little bit windy, but at least the sun feels nice, Keith.
Yeah, it's decent. Unfortunately, guys, some snow tonight. I know you're very excited about that. So, yeah, it happens sometimes. In April and occasionally May. Here come the clouds rolling in from the west, milky skies in a lot of spots to end the day. It was, though, a nice bright day for the most part. Here comes the snow, getting eaten into a little bit here on the eastern edge of it, northeastern edge of it, with a little bit of dry air. But we should be able to saturate the air and get this snow down to the ground here shortly after sunset in a lot of spots. You'll notice it's snow in through Albany and rain in through parts of Massachusetts, and it will be a bit of a mix for us as well. If we zoom out, it's just this northern branch of the storm system that we have to worry about. This is a southern branch that's juicier, but that's going to sail right out over the Atlantic and not be an issue for us. So with temperatures currently in the 40s, we're going to have to drop them a few more degrees to start to snow, but we should be able to do that as the sun sets, get us down into the mid-30s at least. Here we are around 10 o'clock, and you can see that it's a mixture of snow and rain in Portland at 37, mid-30s inland and into Sanford, and that's where it will be wet snow. A little hard to accumulate that wet snow, though, because of the ground temperature, so we'll have a hard time really piling it up outside of the foothills and the mountains, where they will see a couple of inches of accumulation. Changing over to rain showers by late tonight, early tomorrow morning. We start tomorrow not all that promisingly, especially along the coast, but by the middle of the day we clear out and we should get into the upper 50s, even some low 60s by tomorrow afternoon. So it will be a big swing from where we start the day to where we finish. And then we follow it up with another nice day on Sunday, which will be partly cloudy, temperatures in the mid-50s. So here's what we're thinking, just a slushy coating possible in the green, and then 1 to 3 into northern Maine and the mountains where they'll have a better chance of accumulating. Guys, we got a couple more chances of snow next week. I know that's not what you want to hear, but I'll walk you through them.
All right, so enjoy that 60 degrees while we can.
Right, it's going to be like whiplash. It's going to be snowing tonight, and it's going to be 60 tomorrow. It's crazy.
Snow melt, I think is what we're doing for a week.
Right, all right. All right, at least there's the melt that goes with it. All right, Keith, thanks a lot. We'll check with you again in a bit. Check more news now. Fire officials say they now know what started that fire that killed Berwick Fire Captain Joel Barnes back in March.
The state fire marshal announced today that the deadly flames were sparked by improperly discarded smoking materials. Captain Barnes died after he became trapped in a third-floor room and then threw himself on top of another firefighter to shield him from the heat and flames. Officials say the cause of his death was actually hypothermia, a fatally elevated core body temperature. Investigators were not able to determine who discarded that smoking item that caused the fire, and no charges are expected from this. The Maine Center for Disease Control and Prevention says the percentage of unvaccinated children is at an all-time high in schools in the state.
Yeah, the CDC says among kindergartners, the vaccination rate for measles, mumps, and rubella has dropped to 93.8%. The Maine law allows students in public and private schools to be exempt from immunization for medical, religious, or philosophical reasons. The percentage of Maine kindergartners who are vaccinated is the lowest since the state began keeping records, which was just back in the 2009-2010 school year.
I was actually surprised they didn't start keeping records until then.
Right, I thought so too. I thought it would have been long ago. But
yeah. Okay, the Maine House, by the way, advanced a bill that would ban foam food and beverage containers across the state, and if passed, restaurants and grocery stores would not be able to sell or serve food in containers like that starting in January of 2021. Several communities in Maine have already adopted the styrofoam ban, but Maine could be the first in the nation to enact a statewide ban. Supporters say a ban would reduce litter in the state's lakes, rivers, coastal waters. Opponents say the ban would burden small businesses without addressing the underlying throwaway culture. All right, senior year in college is probably one of the most stressful and memorable times of your life.
My son Noah is a senior right now, and I had a stressful phone call with him just a little while ago, trying to figure things out. It's very stressful. But to those seniors who are experiencing all of this right now, just keep powering through. Just about a month to go until it's all over, and then you'll be wishing that it never ended. So.
Yes, we can tell you that. Maddie, the intern, has tips on how you can keep focused and survive the last few weeks.
Okay, seniors, let's take a quick quiz. From here on out, classes are A, a requirement, B, a suggestion, or C, a way to kill time. It's a weekday. Do you A, stay in and study, or B, go out with friends on a Tuesday? When you think about getting a job, do you A, sigh and say, someday, B, throw up, panic, binge eat, or C, all of the above? If you answered B or C for any of these, you're probably experiencing senioritis. But don't worry, you're not alone.
Yeah, I definitely think I have senioritis, but I'm trying to balance it with also like trying to get a job, and I'm still doing good in my classes.
Sadly, I think I have a very bad case of senioritis.
Well, it's definitely just like a little bit of a lack of motivation. I also just got out of an exam, so I'm like a little fried right now. So you guys know how it is.
I skip class much more often and don't do as much homework.
I'm definitely caring less about schoolwork. Definitely want to hang out with my friends and go out as much as possible. Got to take advantage of every weekend we got left, so.
Doing a paper or something, and my friends will be like, oh, like, let's go to that ice cream place we've always wanted to go to, or like this restaurant, and I'm like, oh, I have $2 and a paper to write, but let's go. Like.
It's a lot of procrastinating, a lot of, this is the last time I'm ever going to be able to do this, so I can't say no, I have to do it. And then my schoolwork is just kind of left in the dust.
Oh, I forgot to mention, probably the biggest sign of senioritis is avoidance. Which reminds me, I have to go pack for Vegas. I'm Madison Rayner, and I'll see you next Friday on News Center Now.
Okay, I don't feel so bad if she's going to Vegas.
I know, right? You know, I just hope the teachers kind of, and I think they do understand.
Oh, they do.
You know, that they're going to cut them a little slack this time of year. Cause
I'm sure they get it, yeah.
They were there once too.
Exactly.
All right, we got to squeeze in a break. Coming up, we're going to tell you about Amazon's latest plan to basically take over the world, or at least the internet.
Plus, which type of people are happier, dog people or cat people? Take your guess now, and we'll tell you about the study coming up. Couple of national headlines to get to. The young man who lied to authorities, telling them he was Timothy Pitson, has been charged with making false statements to federal agents.
Yeah, Brian Reaney is his name. He heard the charge in a courtroom in Ohio this afternoon. Yesterday, he was interviewed after claiming he was Tim Pitson, who has been missing for 8 years, ever since his mother killed herself. Now, Rini is 23. Tim would just be a young teenager. Authorities determined he was lying after they did a DNA test, and then after the test, Rini reportedly told police he actually learned about the Pitson case on an episode of 2020. And as for why he lied, no explanation yet. All right, now to this story we've been talking about with our Facebook friends. And I know how I would answer the question, and I know how you would answer the question too. Our answer would be cat people, dog people.
Dogs. What about you, though? Are you a cat person or are you a dog person? And do pets make you happy? Well, the General Social Survey Company finally got around to doing a major survey about pet ownership, and it found nearly 6 in 10 households have at least one pet. For starters, there is actually little difference between pet owners and non-owners when it comes to happiness. But when you break the data down by pet type, cats or dogs, or both, a stunning divide emerges. Dog owners are twice as likely as cat owners to say they're very happy. What's more, dog people are slightly happier than those without any pets, but cat owners are significantly less happy than the petless. Good to know.
It's interesting, isn't it?
It is.
No, this is a study that was done. This is not us saying this, even though we are dog people.
Yeah. All right, coming up, a couple shares their unique relationship that's pulling at heartstrings all across the country.
And there's more of that white stuff coming. Keith says so.
Shane Burkhaw uses a wheelchair. His girlfriend Hannah does not.
Yeah, they were tired of people assuming that she was his nurse. So they created a YouTube channel to normalize interabled relationships. Here's their story.
There are two young people that are in love and figuring out life together. One of us happens to use a wheelchair. Interabled relationships can be fun and adventurous and full of love.
And that people with disabilities can be great partners.
Aww. I was born with a disease called spinal muscular atrophy. That is a muscle wasting disease. It causes my muscles to get weaker as I get older. However, as of 2 years ago, there is now a treatment for SMA that I'm on that stops that progression. So that's an important caveat. But basically, I rely on other people for pretty much every physical activity of daily life, from getting out of bed to going to the bathroom to eating. It's just the way my life is. And I've always been surrounded, especially now, by wonderful people who are always happy to help me out with those things. And I have a lot of independence, even though I rely on other people, which might surprise people.
We met when I saw a documentary about Shane on YouTube, and it sort of linked to his blog. So I read his blog, and he was really into travel. He really liked to swim. We had a lot in common. He was really funny, and I emailed him just to introduce myself.
Like a stalker.
Like a stalker, yeah. And he emailed back with his number, and then we started texting and FaceTiming and began. I help Shane, like he said, with most aspects of like physical daily life. So I'll help him brush his teeth. I'll help him get dressed in the morning. I'll help him
pour a beer.
Yeah, pour your beer. You can drink that on your own. But yeah, so I'll help him with all of that stuff. But for us, it's really just like hanging out. We don't really see it as like specific caregiving time versus girlfriend, boyfriend time. Is that good?
And I only have a skirt on under this, so that is gonna be cold on my thighs.
I think the most frustrating thing that we have to deal with is the reactions to Shane and to our relationship that other people have. So when we're out in public, people will assume that he's my son, or I'm a babysitter or a nurse, all sorts of inappropriate things.
Which is all really romantic when we're on a date together.
Yeah. Online, people have left comments. I mean, thousands of people have left comments, like with theories as to why I would be with Shane, because it can't possibly be a real relationship.
Just that we're in love, yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the. Hold on.
Yeah, you're terrible at this.
It's morning, and we're eating our hotel breakfast.
Hello, and welcome to the tour of my wheelchair. The widespread belief about disability is that disability equals sadness and, isolation, and it's annoying, and it's a little bit embarrassing, and it comes from a lack of experience and knowledge with disability, and that's why we're trying so hard to share our story and show people that people with disabilities live happy, awesome, amazing adult lives.
I think when we are talking about more difficult topics that might make some people uncomfortable, like issues with accessibility or
like how I use the bathroom.
Yeah, I think humor really helps people who aren't exposed to that kind of content normally feel more comfortable.
For anyone that's ever said, Shane doesn't contribute to this relationship, think about the fact that Hannah has never once had to bring groceries inside. I can carry like 90 bags full of food on the back of my chair. Overall, I would say that I have a normal life expectancy. So,
I thought it was 30.
No, I mean, it used to be. I used to think it was, but...
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay, well, now I just have to wait a lot longer for the money.
I think the response has been overwhelmingly positive, and that's been really gratifying for us to hear and see from people that we're exposing them to something they may have never considered before, and that they're seeing it in a really positive way.
A lot of positive comments from you guys on Facebook too about that story.
I've never heard the term interabled relationships until now.
Nor have I.
Yeah. Interesting.
They're making it a thing, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people on Facebook also want to know if you're going to shovel for them. We've tried to tell them they don't need to.
Yeah, you don't need to shovel. I mean,
but if they do, you will do it for them, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. It's one of my favorite things to do. Forecast it, ski on it. Short of that, I'm good. But no, this is the kind of snow, and I think that's going to be the case for the next few events outside the mountains where you don't need to do anything. It's going to burn off really quickly. Temperatures for highs today were in the mid-40s. It was a nice day, a lot of sunshine out there, starting to cloud up as we thought would happen right around sunset time in a lot of spots. Just getting those clouds into northern Maine. They're thickening up over southwestern parts of the state. Here's our storm system. It's a mixture of snow and rain, and the radar algorithm may not be totally dead on here, but gives you an idea that there's a cold pocket in here that we'll be dealing with overnight tonight. Because of the timing of the system, we will see most of this fall as snow for a lot of us. So northern branch, southern branch, this going out to sea, this impacting us tonight, but it is quick moving and relatively small spatially. So it's snowing tonight around 9, 10 o'clock. Notice it's rain and snow mix along the immediate coastline there. And then inland, it's all wet snow, but we have a hard time accumulating it effectively, if you will, with boundary layer temperatures in the mid-30s. And so it's accumulating on grass and maybe your car if it's been parked for a while, stuff like that. I don't think it'll be a problem on the roads, though. Continuing overnight, it changes over to rain showers. Tomorrow morning, we start with showers and clouds, but by the middle of the day, we're partly cloudy, and we take off after that with a lot of sunshine. Late in the day, we should get into the 50s and even some low 60s over southern and western Maine. Overnight, Saturday is quiet, and then Sunday looks good. Snowfall forecast, slushy coating possible, an inch inland, and then 1 to 3 mountains and northern Maine. But again, getting into the 50s later in the day, so most of this is gone by the end of the same day. All right, as I mentioned, Sunday, partly cloudy, temperatures in the mid-50s, start clouding up Sunday night. Again, another system that is similar moves in on Monday, where it's snow mixing with and changing to rain along the coastline. This one's a little bit heavier. And then we take a little break on Tuesday, and then we're going to do it again on Wednesday because you liked it so much. Snow changing over to rain along the coastline for Wednesday into Wednesday night. So we've got several of these systems queued up. The only place there'll be real accumulation over that time period will be the mountains. So guys, this week kind of didn't work out the way I wanted it to. We're really only getting a day and a half of nice-ish weather, Tuesday and Thursday. And I think there will be snowflakes even to the coastline on Monday, Wednesday, and then maybe another storm system on Friday. That would be the same deal. Rain along the coast, snow inland, and so it's an active pattern for the middle of the month here. Not as nice as we've been seeing so far this spring.
No, that's all right. Close. Part of the deal.
It's kind of what we expect.
Yeah.
It's in that ballpark.
All right, thanks, Keith.
All right, Keith. You know, we've heard it before, but apparently here's the proof now. Amazon is actually going to take over the world.
Can we actually say that? The company could soon offer internet service. It plans to launch more than 3,000 low Earth orbit satellites with the goal of providing high-speed broadband internet around the world. This could be a way to give connectivity to underserved communities. No word yet on the timing or the availability.
All right, let's check in with Cindy, see what's coming up at 5:30. Cindy?
Hi, guys. We have news in 2 of the 3 child death cases that really highlighted problems within DHHS. An arrest has finally been made 2 years after the fact in one of those deaths. And in other, the state has rested its case against a caregiver accused of murdering a child. Those stories and more ahead. Plus, we're going to look at the evolution of beer making. And these days, it's all about technology. Advanced sensors and analytics map out and predict flavor. Sounds less fun, though, doesn't it? Yeah. Back to you.
All right, Cindy, thank you very much. I'll join her in the studio in just a sec. You've got Brain Drops with Keith coming up right after this break.
Okay, so NASA achieved an important test milestone. They are testing 4 different engines that they're going to use to go to the moon again. Now, of course, it's been since the 70s that we put a human on the moon, and there's been a ton of conspiracy theories as to why. That is, do you know why we haven't been back to the moon?
Why?
Oh, I was hoping you'd answer.
No, I got nothing.
Yeah, okay. Budget. It's just budget. At one point, NASA's budget was 4% of the federal budget. Right now, it's 0.4%. Okay. So, of course, it was a competitive time in the 60s when we first did this, and we wanted to beat the Soviet Union to the moon. And,
right.
And so
we faked
and
it.
that whole thing,
No,
that whole thing kind of went away, and we had no competition. Now, President Trump wants to go back, and NASA's excited about it. So this is the first test, and they'll be partnering with SpaceX and getting some help from them to make this whole thing happen. But it is supposed to happen in the next couple of years.
Wow.
It's supposed to put a human back on the moon.
All right.
They'll still say it's fake, though. But
let's do it. Let's see it. Let's see proof this time.
Live stream it.
News Center at 5:30 starts right now.